All right, and then I will check this out here real quick.
Well, they should be able to see us.
All right, I'm going to see if I can see us. There's the Freelancer Codex right there. I need to pull out chat. Overlay looks good. Freelancer Codex episode 3, freelancercodex.com. How do I pop out the chat? Pop out chat, please.
Pop out the chair.
All right, so I'm gonna create a awesome feedback loop for you guys here. Pop out chat, please.
Pop out the chair.
All right, so I'm gonna create a awesome feedback loop for you guys here. Pop out chat, please.
Pop out the chair.
All right, so I'm gonna double check this really. Hold on, I'm gonna mute this for a second because this is gonna go all crazy. I'm getting like, it sounds really weird when I start talking, and I don't know why.
You have down there, there's a little bit of fuzz when you're talking?
I'm getting like, it sounds really weird when I start talking, and I don't know why. Okay, that wasn't too bad right there. So I think we should be good to go. All right, Devon. So we're good to go there. So Devon, you good to go? Nope, Devon's muted. He's not good to go.
I was just checking my end. Yeah, I'm good to go. Everything's recording.
For some reason, it says Freelancer Codex is live. Dark Codex. It's still doing my.
Yeah, it does that every time when it goes out. Even when I edit it off of there, I don't know why it puts it in there.
Do you do it from the from Twitch, or do you do it from Streamlabs?
From Streamlabs, right from their thing before it says go live, and it's supposed to take that information from there.
So I've been doing, anytime I do mine, I've been doing it from Twitch itself, from the dashboard, and that seems to, I haven't had any issues that way. All right, Mike, are you ready to go? All right, JD, you ready to go?
I'm ready.
All right, if everyone's ready to go, I think let's get in here. Everyone from chat, thanks for hanging out with us, and let's get this show started the right way.
You are listening to the Freelancer Codex, a podcast brought to you by the Shut Up and Respawn Network.
Welcome back, everybody, to episode 123 of the Freelancer Codex podcast. This is your host, Steve, along with Devon, Mike, and JD, and we're all together again, which seems like it's been a really long time since we've been together. So, guys, welcome. How are you all? JD, how's it going?
It's going. Really excited to talk about what we got in store tonight. So, yeah.
You sound super excited, JD. Mike, how are you? Mike is figuring out how Mike.
Button. Sorry, guys. Doing well. Excited to be here tonight. We've got lots of things to talk about. A bunch of news articles that we want to cover today. Want to talk about some of the things that we've been doing since we've been in, I believe this is week 9 of quarantine. So we're going to talk about that for a little bit. We're going to shout out to those who are finishing up some educational paths, and we are going to go on from there. It's an exciting episode. I'm glad you're here with us, and glad you are here with us.
Devon, your kids got out of school a week early. That's kind of messed up, right?
Yeah, I mean, they were not ready for it, but the school decided that's how it's going to be. So, I mean, we had the teacher send out lesson plans for all the way through next week, but, you know.
Right. You're totally going to keep your kids, like, stick doing the lesson plans for next week, aren't you?
Yeah,
that's,
I mean,
like,
we have summer program already set up. I mean, we do every year. They have to do reading, and we get workbooks, stuff for them to do, just 3 days a week. So we don't like them to get stupid over the summer. So
you're wondering why your youngest hates you. Like, I think
he loves me. He loves me.
It is episode 123 of the Freelancer Codex podcast. There's a couple things we want to talk about from the beginning. first off, we are going to start going back to once a week recording this show. We're going to be covering a lot of the things that are happening with Jeff Keighley's Summer of Game Fest. So we're going to be talking about all that stuff, which at first I thought this was going to be a really good idea because Jeff Keighley is going to like start talking about all the things all the time. He had the whole calendar planned out where there's going to be announcement after announcement after announcement. That happened for like maybe 2 days, and then it's like dried up since then. We're supposed to have announcements all the way until August, so there's going to be things to talk about. And more than that, I think we also wanted to just start talking about more gaming related things. So we're going to be going back to once a week. I'm really excited about that. JD, our BioWare correspondent, will join us at the top of the month whenever we have, well, even if we don't have Anthem news to talk about, I'm sure there'll be some Dragon Age or Mass Effect or something BioWare related that we can talk about, and we can catch up with JD. So first off, I kind of want to know what you guys have been up to during the break. So JD, will you tell us like what games you've been playing, what things you've been trying to tackle in your backlog?
Yeah, I mean, I only got like maybe a handful of hours, maybe like 2 hours every night to play games, but I've been working through a backlog. I'm still working on making my way through the Yakuza series. In Yakuza 4 now. I beat Persona 5 Royal, put every game I was playing on hold to do that madness, and it took me basically a month to do that. And now that I'm done with that, feeling a little bit Japanesed out, so I am playing Overwatch on PC because I can only handle looking at kanji for about a month, I've learned. So I know exactly how long to go to Japan for now. So
all right. So how's the Overwatch scene on PC now? It's been a really long time since I've played any Overwatch at all.
The last time I played Overwatch prior to this was they just introduced Doomfist. So this was a lot has changed. Torbjorn's very different. They've changed Hanzo. They've changed a bunch of characters. But that being said, the game plays really well. I'm really enjoying it. Connected with some old friends that also play the game on PC. Hadn't talked to this guy in like 7 years. We started playing Overwatch together. Pick the friendship right back up like we hadn't like gone 7 years without talking. It's a really fun game. It still is a lot of fun. Anniversary events going on right now. A lot of cool drops. Doesn't feel as cheap as it used to. Felt like you really had to buy boxes to get anything nice, but now really get something back for the time you put in. So I'm enjoying it.
Nice.
Very cool. I'm glad you're back to playing Overwatch. Devon, what have you been up to?
What have I been up to? I've been up to many of the things, mostly Sea of Thieves related, but when I'm not working, playing Sea of Thieves, Call of Duty. I did just buy a PlayStation 4 Pro, specifically for Ghost of Tsushima. But since I have a console, I might as well do something in the meantime, right?
That's true.
So if you caught the stream yesterday, I did a 1 hour stream of Days Gone. I got everything set up now. That was just a first test where I just streamed right from the console, but now I got it hooked up to my computer with my Elgato and all that stuff, so I can do that, do a little bit more of that.
So are you telling me you're giving up on Alien Isolation? Is that just like it's too scary, you're not going back?
I don't know.
You can do it, Devon. I believe in you.
It's a tense game, all right, Steven?
I understand that it's intense, but I know that you could totally beat that game if you want.
I could. You know what I could do? I could turn off the sound to my headphones and just have it be playing so everyone else, and I'll just be like, hey, it's not scary at all.
It's not scary at all. Oh, that jump scare? Totally did not get scared by it. You should. I think you should just like turn the lights off. Like do it for the viewers, man.
Turn the lights off. He'll probably like see my wife at Target sometime and be like, all right, when he's playing this game, why don't you sneak in there when the lights are off and touch his ear while he's playing?
I mean, yeah, that would be awesome. Content's content, Devon. So,
yeah.
Days Gone is weird. Like watching you play through Days Gone, that's a very interesting game. Like I know you like zombie games, and I don't like zombie games.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird, right? So I'll play through it. It'll be something to do. I mean, I might as well. I paid money for it, so
that's true.
Although I mean, I when I had my original PlayStation 4, I also got The Last of Us remastered, and I paid for that. But I was like, nah, I'm not gonna play this. So,
Are
um,
Are you familiar with the lead actor in it, Sam Witwer?
and Days Gone or The Last of Us.
Days Gone. Days Gone.
Yeah. I've seen him, and he was in like the Star Wars games and other things.
Oh yeah,
So,
he's
yep.
he's the voice of Darth Maul. Like,
Yeah. So,
he's
I
great.
mean, it looks interesting. I'm interested to see how the game progresses, and um, you know, but maybe I'll go back and forth between some Aliens and Days Gone. But
I just really enjoy seeing that motorcycle, like big old heavy motorcycle, like being used like a dirt bike. Man, that thing can jump. I'm pretty impressed.
I still have to nail down like those controls for driving are not fine tuned at all. So,
So Mike, what have you been playing in the interim?
I wish I could report that I've been playing lots and lots of stuff because I have lots of extra time, but unfortunately, I don't have lots and lots of stuff that I can say that I've played. However, my kids and I, we have played Lego Worlds. I think we talked about that previously, but that's a fun game. It's Minecraft meets Legos, which is cool. My kiddos and I did that. They would build stuff, and I would go through and collect the things and do the challenges because I am learning that I'm a bit of a completionist, and so I need to get all the things to collect all the gold bricks, and so I have to do all the little tasks, follow this guy and follow that guy, which is fine. I'm okay with that.
Or
And
are
then,
you making your kids do that for you?
no, I am doing that. They won't do that, which is fine, and I'm okay with that. They like the building aspects, so that's cool. As in that same breath, we've been playing Minecraft a lot. Kiddos again showing me my oldest son just built Stark Tower in one of his worlds,
Whoa.
and he built a model of each of the original Avengers
Wow.
to scale. So that was pretty cool. Which is it's a little bit weird though because he'll be super meticulous and lining up all his blocks, but then we had him cut the grass and there's like patches, where you turn a corner and you miss. And I'm
Yeah.
like, you got to show that same level of care. Anyway, so that's fun to do. Forza is still a big thing for us. I like racing games. Again, mostly just the completionist thing, going through and collecting all the Lego bricks. In Legoville, I'm actually not sure um, what the expansion is called, but in Lego Island or something like that,
Legotopia?
which is odd because it's not an island. It's still connected to anyway. So going through all that and doing all the little challenges to collect the bricks so you can build your house bigger and better and stuff. So that's fun to do. Um, I've been spending a lot of time in the backyard remodeling, landscaping the backyard and getting that ready to go for the summer. And I've been busy with other things other than gaming. Trying to get outside and stuff. So it's been fun though. It's been fun to when it does come time to take a break to sit down and mostly sit next to your kids and have them not yell at you for having them do chores or schoolwork because that seems to happen a lot. But it's been fun. It's been fun to do. Steve, what have you been up to, man?
I have been playing. I finished Final Fantasy 15, so I started playing that game, started streaming it, finished it. That game is weird, man. Like I know that has like a 15-year story of that game being developed and changed and all this stuff that's happening. I hope that someone eventually gets the inside story of Final Fantasy 15. What happened? What changed the scope of that game? Because it seems like there are some very well crafted portions of that game that are not the main part of the game. Like there's 4 main characters that you play as the entire time. Each one, like one of them takes pictures, one of them makes food for the team, one of them gathers stuff, and the other one fishes. And those are like super well crafted portions of the game. But it's surrounded by a lot of weird design decisions. And it's like, okay, obviously some people had a lot of time to develop this specific portion and they got a lot of time to do it when the story is very rushed. Like it hardly makes any sense at some points. Like, and Final Fantasy always has super cool summoning animations when you summon these giant gods and demons. It's like, that's always super cool. For some reason, you always end up finding a god at the end of the game. Like, there's some cool things about Final Fantasy 15, but there's a lot of stuff that just makes you raise your eyebrow and wonder, really, this got made this way? But so I finished that, and I'm actually moved. I've been playing a lot of things. I picked up an indie game called Jet Stalker. Shoot, what's it called? Jet something. It's a 2D. It's almost like a side-scrolling jet game where you fly around and you attack a bunch of things. I got a code for that, so I've been playing that. I'll report on that later as I play more. I started Dark Souls 3 because the Souls games seem to be like a huge hole in my video game repertoire. I've never played a Dark Souls game, never beat a Dark Souls game, so I'm planning on doing that. Just figured I'd start with Dark Souls 3 because it was only $15 on Steam. Turns out those games are hard. It is what everyone has ever said that they are. They're difficult. They're hard. But when you pass a boss, it's like this feeling of achievement. Like each time you do it. It's not just. I've also been playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and you go through that game and you just mow everybody down, right? Like you just pick up a sword, you murder everyone. There's very little challenge unless you like start fighting people above your level. So it's kind of just you go through, you kill people, and that's it. Dark Souls is very punishing.
What are you talking about, right?
Oh, you know.
Well, don't play it on easy, right, Steven? No.
Well, so the tutorial boss of Dark Souls 3 only took me like 2 hours to complete, right? And that's it, only 2 hours to complete the tutorial. And you gain souls every time you kill something, and if you die, you drop your souls. You got to go pick them up. That's just kind of like
are they dark?
The Dark Souls game. So I collected about 4,000 souls because I just kept dying over and over again. So I collected all these souls. It's like, okay, the only thing I just can't die until I collect my souls, or else I wipe out all that. So I got to the boss I was trying to beat, died, my souls dropped there, and then I was just very casually going back to the boss. And I was being real stupid about it, ended up dying and losing, 4,000 souls worth of time spent to the game, which is super frustrating and demoralizing. And you can watch that all on stream, and you can watch that realization come over on my face on stream in real time, it's really, really frustrating. So I think I want to keep trying that game. Because I think it's one of those things like, well, you have to beat a Dark Souls game, right? Or is that just something that you let Dark Souls people be Dark Souls people?
Yeah, that's a different breed. Right?
I mean, it's like playing Cuphead, right? Cuphead's very similar.
Yeah. If you like dying a lot and just until you can master that, you have to master each individual one to make it through. And for me, I just don't have time for that. It's like, playing Destiny with people who can't play video games. It's difficult. It takes patience.
That's what we did, Devon.
I know.
That's what we did.
It was a horrible. That's good.
Phaedron, how's it going? Thanks for hanging out on stream. Phaedron, we were just talking about Final Fantasy 15, so you might have missed it there. But Phaedron also says, tell Michael that he's not Michael Scott. I will tell you, though, Phaedron, that Mike sometimes acts very much.
It's because your background. The office background.
Yeah. All right. So a couple things real quick before we dive into the news. I want to thank our patrons. Julius, Nathan B, Michael R, Trent B, Man in Steel, Scout 69, Dragonheart 76. Thank you so much for the continued support. We really, really appreciate it. It makes things a lot easier to do when we're paying for stuff to ship things out. So thank you very much for your support. If you want to join awesome patrons like them to help support this podcast, one of the most amazing podcasts in the world, you can do that at patreon.com/freelancercodex. All right. We also have a new Patreon tier over there. So we started making some challenge coins that we're going to send out monthly. As the month rolls over, we'll figure out, whoever was at this tier, whoever, subscribe to us at that specific tier for that month, they're going to get a monthly Patreon coin. I think I have one here. I don't know if it'll show this. I sent them out on the Twitter, but let's see if you guys can see that. Here's one of them right here. Where's my camera?
Looks pretty fancy.
So there's one of the coins there.
I guess I'm going to have to become a patron to get one of those coins.
Oh, yeah. I'm not going to just give you one for free, Devon. So please do that. Continue to support. It means a lot to us. All right. So let's dive in to the news.
All right. I got to talk to you about something.
All right. Thank you, Keanu.
All right, Devon, take us to our first news item of the day.
News item of the day number 1. So we talked about this. If you saw our video on YouTube, Mike, Steve, and myself, we watched the Unreal Engine 5 demo, gave our thoughts about it. But there is some whispers online, about the loading screen that they say is not a loading screen or, loading area. So if you're watching the demo, JD, have you seen the demo?
The
Unreal Engine 5?
one?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. All right. I just wanted to make sure. I didn't want to spoil it for you. But
Spoiler alert. Devin.
Spoiler alert.
Oh,
If you have
spoilers for a
not,
game that will never come out.
watched the tech demo yet, stop what you're doing
Look away.
and go watch it and come back.
You're right, Devin. Right.
Yeah. Go leave and go watch. Okay. So in the demo, anyways, there's this part in the demo where the main character, is squeezing through what people online are calling the butt crack of gaming.
Butt crack of gaming.
As they squeeze through, the main character is going through, and most of the time in current games right now, if they use that, they're using that to load the assets, the game assets, beyond that character, right?
I mean, it's a clever way to do it.
It is a clever way, but people online are mocking it because Sony has been going on and on and on about no loading screens, no loading. It's always there all the time, right? Even, Tim Sweeney, the shield that he is.
Okay, tone it down.
Sorry.
Shield that he is.
Hold on. No, I mean, he's a billionaire, but he'll take anybody's money. It's fine. Anyways, so he was going on about no loading, right? So they're talking about this. They have 2 people, right? So Dana Cowley, he's the PR guy, basically. He's talking about there wasn't a loading trick at all, right? He's like, to avoid confusion, originally they had some voiceover in there that called out the narrow cranny, as they put it. It's meant to show that the asset's up close, but those lines of dialogue didn't make it into the final edit. I mean, so they said they wanted to show off how close you can get to the geometry and the visual fidelity of those assets, which it looked great, no doubt about it. The tech demo looked amazing. Then Jeff Ferris, I just looked him up. What the heck does he do? I don't remember what he does. Let's find it here.
He's part of the Unreal.
Yeah, he's part of the Epic team. Anyways, he says the squeeze served several purposes for us: close in detail, animation, audio, demo flow. But we did have a tiny worry that folks would think it was necessary to hide loading. It wasn't. Smiley face with a winky. Right. I mean, so if you're going into something ahead of time, knowing that people are talking about loading, maybe try a different way. I don't know. It's just my opinion. It looks like loading. If it looks like a duck, smells like a duck, quacks like a duck, as they say, it may be a chicken. If it's Epic Games, I don't know.
That's what they say. Yeah.
But yeah. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think it was a loading screen? Do you think it wasn't?
Well, Devin, I want to ask what your issue with it is. If it was a loading screen, who cares? Like why?
The reason why is because they're going on and on about no loading screens. And if they're hiding the loading screen, if they're putting it in the first major tech demo loading screen, it's like, okay, whatever, but don't be shouting from the rooftops, no loading screens, no loading, and then have loading in your tech demo.
So had they not touted this as a no loading screens thing, and it
would be nothing. It wouldn't even be a conversation piece.
Like we wouldn't even be talking about it.
No, the internet wouldn't care at all. Yeah. It's because they talk about it. That's why it's an issue.
Right. No, I understand. I just wanted to understand why you're so, salty about it, because you really seem really salty about it, and I wanted people to know that you're not usually this salty about stuff, because you're really usually a level-headed guy.
No, just Tim Sweeney just gets me going, man.
Tim Sweeney was like, I mean, they obviously got paid by Sony to say, hey, this is running on PlayStation 5, right? Okay, and that's fine. Their business. If anyone wants to throw us money to say anything good about the PlayStation 5, we will gladly do that, right? We'll do the same thing. But that, like, Devon's Xbox ambassador, so a little bit biased. I'm not gonna
Hey, I have a PS4 Pro. What are you talking about? I've had every PlayStation console, every Nintendo console.
I understand. I'm just saying that, you know, there is a little bit of that, and that's something that Devon doesn't like anyway, is that anytime like you're saying, oh, this can only run on the PlayStation 5. I mean, and anyone that thinks that the Unreal engine, Unreal 5, can only run on PlayStation 5, like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, welcome to America. I don't know. Like, Unreal is like a flagship for every single console out there. It's going to be on everything.
I mean, they said it was,
awesome
right?
They used it in The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
So and here's the thing, the loading screen. It's really weird to say we use this as an opportunity to do a close up on our character. Like, that's a weird. Like, you can do a lot of different things to do a up close on your character. Like loading through things like Tomb Raider, where, you know, every time they go through a loading screen and you have to look down Lara's shirt, like that's not how you showcase your characters. So that's just weird. Anyway, like, let's move past it, because even though they say that there's going to be no loading screens,
There's going to be loading screens.
like maybe if you were to take a game right now that was made in 2018, put it in Unreal Engine 5, or use the super fast SSD of a PlayStation 5, there wouldn't be a loading screen. But if you're a developer that can now make bigger assets that look better than they did in 2018, you're going to put bigger assets in there. You're not just going to use the same file size for, oh, this will load faster and we don't need to upgrade the quality of it. We're going to do that. Pretty soon there's going to, I mean, we already have some games with 8K textures, right? We already say that PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X can do 8K. Like, that's dumb. Most people, I don't think, even have 4K TVs. But games are going to get bigger. Despite how fast it is, developers are going to push it to the limit, so there will still be loading screens. So even though they're like, we'll never have a loading screen again, that's a dumb statement to me. Because, yeah, we're going to have loading screens because the games are going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. Like, Super Mario 3, no loading screens.
Well, and assets are just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. The longer we just stay dormant and sedentary and don't do anything, those assets are just going to get larger and larger.
That's what I'm talking about.
You have to have a system that'll cover it. And I got to see more of them assets.
And that's why I've been trying to run my asset off. All right, so let's move on.
You guys just like saying the word asset, all right?
So let's move on to some Anthem news. We actually have some Anthem news. We got a blog from a new name in the Anthem space that I was not aware of previously, probably because the Christian did not want to be known and wanted the anonymity of just working on in games without being yelled at on Twitter. So Christian Daly is the new studio director at BioWare Austin. He is the new head of Anthem. So this is the person that we can complain about, right? I'm just kidding. So he's going to be leading the Anthem team right now. So, and we got an updated blog over on blog.bioware.com. This is the first time they've talked to us since February, when Casey came on and said, hey, that they're going to be changing things up. So JD, you want to read us, take us through the first couple paragraphs of Christian's blog, and then we can discuss this and talk about what it means for Anthem and what we think it actually will mean. Yeah, it's the John Warner of Austin. Well, John Warner is actually not a studio director. He's the head of personnel. I forget his actual title, but he's doing something with HR over there. All right, go ahead, JD.
All right. So this is what he had to say. The Anthem incubation team has kicked off, and we are starting to validate our design hypotheses. Incubation is a term we use internally. It essentially means we are going back and experimenting / prototyping to improve on the areas where we believe we fell short, and to leverage everything that you love currently about Anthem. We are a small team, about 30-ish, earning our way forward as we set out to hit our first major milestone goals. Spoiler, this is going to be a longer process. And yes, the team is small, but the whole point of this is to take our time and go back to the drawing board. And a small team gives us the agility a larger one can't afford.
Before you move on, JD, I would like to let's talk about the 30-man team, because I know there have been some people online that are freaking out that it's only a 30-man team. Like, I think we all need to realize that they are like, this baby is incubating, right? Like, we are in the fetal stage of whatever Anthem 2.0 is. Like, this game is not going to be out this year. It's not going to be out next year. Like, maybe the end of 2022. Like if they want to take till 2023, I'm like, sure, why not? Go for it. If they have the luxury, if EA is going to let them do that. But this game is not coming out soon.
Yeah.
Right. I'm not the only one that.
Yeah, no, I mean,
and they do say it's their first major milestone goal. Like it's not like they have already been hitting major milestones and that sort of thing. We know that BioWare has milestone meetings and things like that, but they specifically say first major milestone. They are early in the process.
I think we can probably just stop calling it Anthem 2.0 and just be like the new Anthem game, basically, right? I mean, they're going so far back, they're changing everything. It's I mean, we talked about this before, where the timeline and how far we think it's going to be, but this really, I mean, says, hey, it's years down the line, and like Steven said, I don't think it's going to be out until 2022 at the earliest. And a lot of people are just gonna be like, oh well, at that point it should be a whole new game. I mean, that's several years after this one released, and just call it what it is. I mean, the other question though from this, well, I'll get to that in just a minute, but 30-person team, I don't think is too bad. There's games that are launching from indie studios with like 11 and 12 people, amazing games with a small amount of people that are doing a lot of work. And game engines, like Unreal, that we just talked about, definitely help out people that, don't have a huge team. Frostbite, whether it lends itself to that or not, I don't really think it does, but I don't really know too much about Frostbite. So
Badrian in chat asks, do you actually think they will take feedback from the community?
I think so. I think they'll take feedback. They'll talk about it. They'll look at it internally and maybe try and use some of the stuff. But, I don't know. I mean, everybody's just thinking like it's going to be Anthem 2.0, but I think this is just a whole new game. And I think they had to make that choice or that tough the decision sometime last year because they've been working on it since last year, right? And so I think they had to make the decision to be like, look, we can try and right the sinking ship, or we can let this ship sink. We'll put it on life support. Basically, is what I think it is right now. It's on their updates and stuff. They're not really doing anything. No new content's really going to come out for it. I don't see any new content coming out for it. Honestly, the Anthem that we have now, because that would take away from what that 30-person team is doing, and to really put the effort into basically doing everything over, and it's going to be years away. That's a whole new game to me. That's, but if they're doing that, then when do they end the live service for Anthem? Do they just leave it there?
They probably do. I mean, they just leave it running for 5 years or so until they just like clear up the server space. I mean, there's no reason to take it down if there's still people playing there. And if there's still people spending money there. I mean,
so if I can take a swing at answering Phaedron's question, the closest thing BioWare has done to this would be their development of Dragon Age Inquisition. And I think the answer, I think what we're going to see is they're going to incorporate fan feedback, but they're going to do it their way, which is to say, like Dragon Age Origins, you could put any armor, any weapons, if they could equip them, on any of your party members. You could have the mage in whatever mage robes you want, or the Templar and whatever suit of armor you want. You could kind of customize their looks individually. And then in Dragon Age 2, everybody had a very set look. There wasn't like any kind of upgrade. There might be like a small visual change to their outfit once you've maxed out their companionship or their loyalty or whatever it was. But the whole thing is that people were complaining that they wanted it to be more like Origins, but BioWare wanted it to be more like Dragon Age 2, where every character had their own unique look. So the compromise there that they ended up taking that bit of fan feedback from Origins about 2 was they just made all of the armor, all the character armor in Inquisition, basically like they had a certain type of look, and you could put different armor pieces on it. And if it was heavier armor, it would just be a heavier version of the character's iconic look. So I think they'll meet us halfway on some of it. I don't think they're going to, if that's any indication of how they do things. I think it's just going to be kind of like meeting us in the middle of a compromise between what they want to do and what fans are asking them to do. How successful that'll be remains to be seen.
I mean, that's really interesting, because when you talk about fan feedback, like, it seems like all of us are, like, the majority of people that talk about Anthem, we're all kind of in agreement with things that we do want, right? There needs to be more story content. We need to actually have inscriptions that work. We need to have a stat page to make it more RPG. So, I mean, I would think that they've heard all that feedback. I mean, we can finish reading this and then we can talk about the other statements, because Christian also does say that he has been hearing this. So, JD, will you finish up that second paragraph? Then we'll let Mike start into the next one.
You got it. All right. So we really want this experience to be different for the team and our players, but we know we have some tough challenges to tackle. We want to include you as we go and be open and honest with where we are at and what the expectations are with where we are going. And the reality is you will see things that look awesome but end up on the cutting room floor, or things that you might think suck that you feel we are spending too much time on. But in the spirit of experimentation, this is all okay. We really want to provide you all the transparency we can because of your passion and interest in Anthem. But with that comes seeing how the sausage is made, which is not always pretty, by the way.
So, Mike, do you think, I mean, this seems
So-
very much like, hey,
I mean, so it's
180.
so you have to kind of go up to the 30,000 foot level, right? Because we have to look at everything as a whole. We have to look at Anthem, the title that we got when we got it out, and all the streams and everything that was put out to that when it was being debuted and when it was being made, and that whole process when Anthem that we know was being born, right? So we look at that. We know what came from it. We know where it is now. We just talked about it. And now we know where they're going, right? So the problem is, and I think this is a problem. The problem is that they're still kind of attaching that Anthem name to it, because this is the progression of what it is. It sounds to me, just reading between those lines, it sounds to me that they're saying, you know what, we acknowledge everything that happened in the past. We showed you cool stuff. It didn't make it. We got flack for it. There's stuff that got into the game that we really thought was going to be cool, but then ended up not being, and we got flack for that too. So unfortunately, I think they're coming out with, and I'm still going to call it 2.0 because it's just what it is, right? And I think that that's a disservice in some degree, because I would almost be, all right, guys, listen, this is Anthem as it is. This is how you have it. This is where we're going to leave it. We're working on a new game now, because that's what it feels like. That's what the tone is now, because the last thing that we got was from Anthem 1.0 was, you know what, when we're ready to make changes, you'll see them. We're not going to talk about them. But now we've turned that corner, and it's like, well, actually, really, we're gonna try to bring you along on this journey as we create things and do stuff. And just to speak to the fan feedback and stuff, I think that's really hard to do in today's world, only because if a fan suggests something and then it makes it, sorry guys, my little one is having a hard time sleeping. If a fan suggests something and it ultimately makes it into the game, who then gets credited for that? If that makes any sense, like who is the creative impetus behind that? Can someone who just suggests a whole lot of stuff and that happens to make it in the game, then can they say, well, that was my idea, how come I'm not getting credit for that? And
well, that's the
crazy
reason.
as it, oh, absolutely, and that's just the world we live in. So I don't think that fan critiques and fan what's the word I'm looking for, comments and things like that, they're like, oh yeah, that would be a great thing to put in the game, but I don't think studios can say, oh yeah, you're right, that is something that we need, because then you're getting into a legal battle. And I know that studios don't want to fight that, and I know that there are people out there who really just want a payday, and so they bait and they try to get, like, they are, oh man, they are masters at that. of just baiting people into
Are they-
getting what they want. And
Are they
so
masturbators?
and so that's
Come
those are my
on.
those are my
Yay.
thoughts. Those are my thoughts. That's where I'm going. So I'm going to go into this next paragraph. Or unless Steve, you got a comment. You feel
No, you
like
go
I feel
ahead.
like you want to get in there.
No, go ahead and read the paragraph.
So continuing on from Christian Daily, we also want to start putting together some regular comms out to everyone to show/talk about these changes and our progress. This blog is one example, but we also want to include you in more of the day-to-day and hopefully get you some real interactions with the team. These updates could come in the form of an ad hoc live stream or some cool concept art posted on social media, or the occasional feed of me curled up in a ball crying in the corner. Ha, ha, ha.
That was pretty funny.
I would like
Right?
to. I would like to
Like
point
this is,
out.
but this is the stuff that bugs me. Like, and maybe the social media world is such that we try to reach all audiences so someone doesn't feel left out. But you know what? The people who care about games being made are people who, just to steal the phrase that was taken already, know how the sausage is made. Right? So you don't, anyway, I'm nitpicky, but you don't need to put that last little attempt at humor in, because we get it. We've talked to developers on this show. If you haven't listened to our developer interviews, please go back and listen to them, because you know what? They're real people who are passionate about what they do, who love doing what they do, and who are excited about things that you and I may or may not get excited about. But it's fun to see other people's excitements and other people's genuine reactions to things.
Are
So
you-
I don't
Are you
think-
just saying don't put in a little bit of humor at the end? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I'm saying that I'm as reading this and going through this, like why do you want us to see the sausage being made? Just
I'll
I
tell
don't
you why.
know. I'm a little
So-
back and forth about it.
So
Because,
2 years
like-
ago,
Yeah.
2 years ago, there was a podcast called the Freelancer Codex that said, "Hey, BioWare, start showing us stuff on social media. Shoot us some concept art. Do some streams where you're just talking to your people. Like, let us get to know your team." All right. So that's what they're saying. So when they said, "Are they going to take feedback?" Yeah, they'll take it from the people that are best to take it from. That's the Freelancer Codex podcast. I don't know if you guys know
Obviously.
about them.
He went back,
Obviously,
started at episode 1.
So yeah, will they take feedback? I hope so. I hope they take feedback from a lot of different places, because right now this game needs input from the people that are going to be playing it, because those are the people that are going to keep it going. Like we know what we want for the game that you're trying to build, so just ask us and let's try to get that put in. Like this is a huge thing for Christian Daly to like be the new studio director of BioWare for Anthem. Like that position has to have a target on their back, right? Christian's stepping up to the plate, putting out a blog post saying, "All right, guys, this is pretty much saying, all right, come at me. This is who I am. I'm on Twitter. Let's go." So yeah, so this is going to be really hard for him. I hope he can take the criticism, or I hope he can just block a lot of people on Twitter, because that's a position that's going to be really hard for some people to take, because now people are like, "Hey, we've got crosshairs on a new person and someone just talked to us. So here we go. Let's go." All right. So good luck, Christian. We've got your back.
Yeah, for sure. Good luck. So Devon, what does this all mean?
No, I've got one last thing to say before you move
Of
me on.
course
Okay.
you
I always have things to say, Mike. This also came out about 1 month before EA Play. Okay, so this is saying, hey, nothing is happening with Anthem at EA Play. Don't get excited. Don't expect anything. We're in the incubation phase. This is like setting the stage for people to not expect something. And we have to realize that like this is one of the main reasons this came out, because this could have come out after EA Play, and it would have been, people would have been saying, "Hey, where's Anthem? You're working on Anthem. Why are you not showing it EA Play? Why is it not here?" And then, then the whole player base of Anthem blows up saying, "Hey, where's our stuff? You're supposed to be working on this." So this is completely set the expectation. Don't expect anything at EA Play. I think this is the main purpose of this coming out when it did. Okay, that's all I had to say. Devin, you can go ahead and talk now.
Glad you
Yeah,
glad you got that in there.
I don't know. I mean, it's interesting, right? So they talk about the concept art and those kind of things. And while that's cool, the concept art, I mean, unless they're showing us concept art of the user interface, of like their stat screens or those kind of things that, fix the systems. I don't know. I mean, I guess that's why for me, just calling it like Anthem 2.0 or putting it on there, I'm trying to think of it as a whole new game based upon the time. And that to me makes more sense than, I mean, you can call it Anthem 2.0 and the whole new systems and stuff, but it has to just be a new game by then. You can't put something on life support with no new content. Or, I mean, you can. But for me, if they're just like, yeah, this is the new version of Anthem 2 or 3 years from now, it's going to be like, what? This isn't a whole new game? I mean, it has to be a whole new game because the system is so broken in Anthem right now that
we didn't get our pilot trees, we didn't get our stat pages, like all that stuff was devoid. So there needs to be those new systems in there.
I agree with all of that, and I agree with Devin that it's not going to be Anthem as we know it, but I have a hard time just saying, working title game.
I just call it the next Anthem game.
But again, you're still attaching it to Anthem, so I understand what you're saying.
It's going to be Anthem. Like, I don't think it's going to change, right? Unless they're going to change the name, or, I mean,
I think you guys are arguing over calling it.
Yeah, semantics.
It's still
it is semantics, but I think the idea and the theory there is that I mean, what would you save? I mean,
just the art and style. That's about it. The world, some of the story that was in there, but their entire systems I would get rid of and replace.
Well, and that's what I mean. That's what I'm saying. So because we do feel that it does need to be something different than what we had. Yeah. Because of all the problems that it had, and that's not a knock. That's not a knock on them at all, and it's not meant to be, and I hope it's not taken as that. But you're allowed. I mean, you're allowed to have a game that does or does not meet expectations, and that's okay. And I think obviously that's tough for developers when their player base is like, oh man, you guys really missed the mark on this, and so they get quiet and they retreat and they say, how do we fix this? So I get that, and that's not what this is meant. Again, for me, it almost feels like that's kind of what we're doing, but that's not what we're meant. That's not what we're meaning to do. It's just, I mean, we're trying to come up with.
All right, so
ideas,
let's come up with five things that it needs. Okay. First, we need better hit registration when we're fighting enemies and we're getting shot at, right? We need to know where we're getting shot from. We need to know where that stupid bullet is.
That's a problem with Frostbite in general, so.
Right, but that's something that it needs, right? So that's one thing. What else does it need?
So it needs better weapon mechanics, their whole weapon system. I mean, it's complicated the way they have it split apart, with the parts of your suit that aren't really parts of your suit, that don't exist really. You could buy those things. I don't know, that system to me just doesn't work. And I mean, they need more weapon variety, all these different things. That's a huge, complicated pile of dinosaur poo that you got to dig through to really get it right. I mean, they just need way more variety, and the way that they implement it needs to be in something that's actually there. I don't really like the inscription system at all. The randomness of it, I don't want random inscriptions.
I will say that if crafting is going to be a part of your game, make it meaningful. So it needs to have a legit crafting system along with currency system. I'm going to throw those all in together. So your crafting and your currency need to have meaning, and they need to have weight.
Patron says Diablo-like gear sets, which I wholeheartedly agree with. I mean, we talked about Diablo over and over again and how they could implement all their builds and everything into this game.
I would love a division weapon system. with mods and where we could both have the same gun, but I have a suppressor and a long range scope, which makes it different. Like, I think that would be super cool.
Yeah.
I think there needs to be more cohesive story.
Customization. There should be so much more customization because of like just how the game is set and everything else. I mean, they've been building, this stuff for hundreds of years, according to the story, and this is all we got for it. It's like these are it's like you've been building weapons for 500 years, and this is all you come up with.
Also, I gotta say, if whatever happens with 2.0, I think they gotta deliver, or they gotta better deliver on that promise of a story that you can enjoy together with your friends. Because unfortunately, it really just like the story at the fort was just your own. The choices were very limited. And when we actually got out there, like, I don't know why they did it that way, especially when Star Wars: The Old Republic has a system for that and does it just fine. I would prefer, like, if they're the makers of Dragon Age and Mass Effect and Knights of the Old Republic and Star Wars: The Old Republic, I want to have that experience with my friends. I want to have, like the party making dialogue choices in certain scenes that actually have impact our collaborative experience, because that's like all the fun of like something like D&D or something where like everybody has the same campaign module, or you could give your campaign notes to somebody else, they could run your homebrew campaign. Either way, it's the other people with you that make that experience unique and enjoyable. So having, like what they do in Star Wars: The Old Republic, where they like, there's basically like a little dice roll that happens real quick to decide who speaks first. Having that chance of like somebody in your party in Anthem saying, "Hey, thanks for saving the day," and it goes, "How much money you got?" Like that totally changes things. And they need to deliver on that promise of a narrative that you can enjoy, a BioWare story that you can enjoy with your friends. That was the most frustrating part for Anthem for me, and I think people might have been less frustrated by it if it wasn't for the fact that it under-delivered there.
That sounds like
I
a
think
pretty
it's
risky
possible.
system with me involved.
Yeah, because then you get people that just totally screw up your story. I mean, if you've ever played D&D with Devon, like seriously. So what? A couple like two things.
I might have
I
watched
just
it.
want to say, like two things. First, I think they need like to implement some sort of different mode type that is super randomized, so you're not playing the same thing over and over again. Something very similar to like a roguelike, where you're going in, you're making choices through a run, and you see how far you can get. Like, there's a lot of things that they can do. They have shaper relics in this world that do whatever they want them to do. There's like no limits because they built themselves no limits in the game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, if you're going to go on this run and you want more lightning damage, take this. Or if you want to take fire damage, take this. And you move on, upgrade your stuff until you get to the end, whatever. I kind of think that they should just drop the live service. Like, live service didn't do anything for 1.0. There was nothing live servicey about it. And I know that's probably because of the development problems that they were having. They couldn't really deliver on that. But at this point, and in 2 years from now, like, what does live service even do for us at that point? We've seen that every live service game goes through, like, they have issues providing enough content for their players to be happy with it. Like, there are some days where players love their live service games. That's usually on day of launch of new content, and then the day of launch of new content. Other than that, there's not enough content. I'm grinding over and over.
I've played 400 hours. There's not enough to do.
I mean, give us a single player campaign with the ability to, let us play with friends. I don't know what live service is going to be doing for us, right? Like,
Well,
I think
in 2 years, where's live service going to be anyways in 2 years, right? I mean, that's kind of getting burnt out. All the big live service, Destiny is basically dying. I mean, even if you just look at stream numbers, right? We'll go with stream numbers. When Destiny 2 has 95 people watching it on Twitch, it's like, that's all.
it's got to be way more than that.
Go ahead, go look.
I'm gonna go look. I bet, because I think Destiny is like usually in the top 10.
Yeah. While we're waiting, I do gotta say regarding the release date. Generally in the past, BioWare hasn't really been one to release 2 games in the same calendar year.
8,000 people viewing it.
Tonight?
8,000.
Well, that's good. Better than the other day
Yeah,
when I logged on, there was 75 people watching it. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
75? I mean, I'm just saying,
Yeah,
Sea
but
of
generally
Thieves
speaking-
live service, and it's got 17,000 people.
So I don't think it's gonna be 2022. I think the only thing that might change my mind on that is if they announce that the new Dragon Age game is coming out in 2021. BioWare has never really released 2 games in the same calendar or fiscal year. The only exception to that is Star Wars: The Old Republic. And I did some research onto why, even looking at some earnings reports from EA, and they just list it as like a totally separate thing. Like they have like projected game releases for the year, and at the very top of the list, they're like, we're also releasing Star Wars: The Old Republic, and that'll be in the second half of the calendar year. And that's all they say. But yeah, like I think the closest they've ever released 2 games together is Dragon Age Origins and Mass Effect 2, but one was in November of 2009, and then the other one was January of 2010. So my money's on 2021 because the next Dragon Age is anticipated for 2022. So
Well, that's 2 different teams, though, right? I mean, everybody up in Canada, they're making Dragon Age.
We're assuming that nobody in Edmonton is involved with the narrative side of things, which I believe they still are.
I don't know. I mean,
don't think so.
I would prefer
People,
split it off, let Austin handle it, let that whole team, let them be their own team. Because, they're not Ubisoft. BioWare is definitely not Ubisoft. When they have multiple studios handling something, it hasn't gone so well.
and I don't think BioWare gets to choose when they release their games either. That's not a BioWare decision.
that's why I was
Not
looking at
anymore.
it from a fiscal angle too, because like aside from that, like it's usually like they're spaced out pretty well. So I just think the odds of it releasing in 2022 are low. My money's on late 2021.
I think that is super
optimistic.
All right, let's
Super
move on
generous.
to the next thing. This is another thing that speaking of BioWare Studios. So according to VentureBeat, Jeff Grubb, who writes for VentureBeat, was talking about the EA earnings report that had come out, and and this is super weird to me because this seems like something that, okay, so Jeff Grubb drops that, that HD remaster of an EA game is the Mass Effect trilogy. So don't expect that also so that's not going to launch on Switch, at least not at first. This news story is really weird to me that he would just go out and say this. Like that has to be like a huge gut punch if EA and BioWare are putting out a Mass Effect trilogy and they're going to announce it at EA Play. Like that's a dick move, man, to like just kind of scoop.
This is like Kotaku level. This is how Kotaku gets banned from stuff, and studios hold that grudge for years, and you get no information, no access when you do stuff like this. It's like, and we've talked about this on the Discord and other places where, what's Schreier? What's his name? Jason Schreier. There's differing opinions on his character and what he does, and he brings to light issues with certain things, yes, but he also leaks information as well as many other people. And we talked about leaks earlier before the show, and yes, we like leaks. I like leaks sometimes, but at the same time, when it really screws people over, a lot of them do. I mean, just give it a little taste. He could have just said, you're gonna like it, or I don't know. He didn't have to just give the whole entire leak, give the whole thing away and just be like, hey, everything you guys have been working for, the big surprise, that's all gone. I took that from you. It's mine, my surprise to give out. And love me, for giving you all that information. I don't know. I mean, people do that. They leak stuff. I don't know.
And like so close to when they would have probably announced it too, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like, I mean, there's probably marketing people that are like, oh, I hope this doesn't leak. I hope this doesn't leak. And then bam, it leaks. Like that sucks. Like,
That hurt.
I don't know. Like, cool, man. I guess you got your your couple minutes in the spotlight where you
Well,
released this, but
Well, we're talking about him, right? So,
Hey.
I mean,
What he wants?
we are. Fair point. All right.
Yeah.
So Mass Effect trilogy. So I don't know if this is going to be like remaster, if they're going to combine. I think this is the one thing that a lot of people have been talking about online is that they take 1, 2, and 3, smash it together, one remaster, similar systems across the entire story of the game, instead of having the different combat from 1 to 2 and to 3 and going that route. I mean, JD, as the local BioWare fanboy that you are, and man, you BioWare fans, like, seriously have some serious baggage on your hands.
Oh yeah.
Like,
La baggage.
I mean, on a level of 1 to 10, I mean, I shouldn't even ask you if you're excited. You're excited, right?
Oh yeah. All I know is that the people who know me know I love Mass Effect so much that my brother heard about it from his friend, called me up and said, "Hey, have you heard about this?" And I'm like, "Man, I heard about it yesterday." But yeah, I think it's going to be good. To what people have been saying, at the very least, like I'm fine with an HD remaster, like just an upscaling of like the textures and everything. But I ideally, I know myself and a lot of other people would prefer that they update the gameplay in Mass Effect 1. If we could update the entire trilogy up to Mass Effect Andromeda's combat and exploration gameplay, that'd be great. But I'm pretty sure that'd be a massive undertaking because they'd have to retweak all the levels, all the planets, things like that. That would probably take way too long, unless this is something that they've been working on for a while, which, that's entirely possible as well. But I think it's going to be good for EA and BioWare. It's going to keep BioWare and Mass Effect relevant, at least in gaming, if they release it in the next year or so, especially because with Anthem's 2.0 being so far off and Dragon Age 4 being like, I don't know, 1 to 2 years away, or maybe even 3 years away, and no word on the next Mass Effect game. They're going to need some kind of release to, to kind of justify them being there. So I'm hoping they do something. Also, it is worth noting, I just by chance ended up researching it the other day, checking the dates and stuff, see if November 7th fell on a Tuesday this year, and it doesn't. But November 16th does, and that is the original release date. November 16th, 2007 was when the original Mass Effect game came out. So that'd be a good day to release it. I'm just saying, EA,
Would it though? I mean, next gen consoles launching this holiday. You don't think it'd be buried in all the next gen games? Or cross gen, basically.
As silly as it's gonna sound, like there were like I feel like it'll get buried the same way that the Final Fantasy VII remake will get buried, which is the people that really love it. That
like Final Fantasy VII remake's already out though, so
the whole thing is that that's what I'm saying. It's not going to be buried at all.
But it also came out in the middle of like nothing. Like there was nothing else around. That's what Devon's getting at.
Because I mean, there's all the annual launches, new first-person shooters, big stuff from Ubisoft. There's going to be, all the other EA games, Xbox, PlayStation. I mean, I don't know what PlayStation is. Godfall.
I'm not 100% that they would launch it in. I'm not 100% that they would launch it in November. But I'm just saying that, like, it does fall on a Tuesday. November 16th does fall on a Tuesday. It would be a, nice nod to the original game if they released them all on that day, and that's usually when games come out, which is Tuesday.
So you're fine with just a HD remake? I mean, I know you would like more, but
I mean,
if it was just a graphical upgrade, what if it wasn't even like? What if they did a typical like Xbox upgrade where they just res it up to 4K, and clean up the textures, those kind of things, but just leave it the same? Would you still buy it?
Yeah, not even a question, because like, even though like it was 2007, like the Mass Effect graphics hold up really well. I think the only thing that doesn't really hold up well from the original game are the textures on the planets you can visit, but that's because they were randomly generated. Like the planets aren't randomly generated, but they just kind of use like a repeating texture on most of their planets, and those definitely don't look good anymore. But yeah, like I'm fine with it. Obviously, the more improvements that they can get, even better. If they can take the time to smooth out the ending of Mass Effect 3 and make it a little bit more conducive to a direct sequel, because right now, like as much as people want a Mass Effect 4, they would have to do some serious like writing gymnastics to write themselves out of the corner that they put the Milky Way galaxy in at the end of Mass Effect 3. So
I just, write a little dribble like, oh, that was all a dream. This does not exist.
That's Mario 2 then.
Yeah,
they
just
could set
Mario
it up.
2 it.
They could set it up in a
Oh,
remaster.
I just
They
woke
could
up.
set it up in
What
a
happened?
remaster. They can make it so the transition of your choices is a little bit easier, or maybe some choices are a little bit more impactful. There's a lot of stuff they could do that I'm sure fans would appreciate, but what they end up doing, I think the people who really love the series are going to be fine with it anyway.
Anything they do, like BioWare fanboys will hate it because they changed it. So Phaedron says
I'm
he'll
gonna
buy
love
it.
I'll buy it.
Phaedron says he'd buy it if all 3 games come with DLC. And ask, would you play it if they just do an HD remaster?
He's asking you.
So I know I've only played Andromeda. See, this if it's an HD remaster, then I'm not interested.
Yeah.
Like if they do a remake of the game where they put it all into one, if it's the Mass Effect trilogy, is one game, start to finish, I take my character from the beginning to end without having to put in another disc, without having to transfer anything, without having to change
Still
systems.
use discs?
Yeah. If it's like if they're going that route and going to that level, then I will probably pick it up and play it and just like add that to my hey, I played through this remaster see, I always get confused on what we consider a remake and a remaster. If they take the 3 games, put it in a bundle, up-res the textures, then I'm not interested. Like I don't want to go through that, even if it looks better. Like controls on Mass Effect 1 are very hard for me to get into. Like I went and tried to play that through Xbox or whatever service they had, and I just had no fun and didn't want to do it. But if they take the time, then I'll go ahead and do it. So and Phaedron says I tried to play the Uncharted games and couldn't get through them, and people swear by them. And I get that. Like it's something that I wasn't there at the time. A lot of this has to do with like tons of nostalgia, right? Like if you
the
were
emotional
there,
baggage.
Yeah, and it's that baggage that we all talk about. Like, Final Fantasy VI, I'm in all the time, no matter what. Like a lot of people, no way they can go back and play that game because of the random encounters, the way it looks, and the systems. Like, and I get that. That's all on me. Like if they were to take the time, do a remaster, then I'll try it and I'll play through it. And I probably will just, I'll do that. Mike, what do you think? Is that something that you would even be interested in going through the whole Mass Effect trilogy?
No.
Thanks, Mike. So it'll be interesting to find out what they talk about during EA Play. Like, sucks that they got scooped, but hopefully, it just sucks for them. All right, moving on because that's enough BioWare talk, right? Next thing, so Minecraft. Mike talked about him and his boys playing Minecraft. My boys are playing Minecraft a ton also, and apparently everyone else is playing a ton of Minecraft because they just passed $200 million in sales.
Not $200 million. 200 million copies.
200 million copies in sales and 126 million monthly active players. That is insane. That is an insane amount of monthly active players. Whether they logged in once, I don't know exactly what their metric is.
So, Steve, remember that over the last 8 weeks, schools have been closed everywhere.
Yeah.
So keep that into your astonishment factor.
I'll still be astonished because even at peak, World of Warcraft would never have gotten close to 126 million users. Like, I think they probably peaked, I don't know, around 15, 16 million people in World of Warcraft paying $15 a month. Like 126 million users. Like, if if any game, any live service game had 1 million monthly active users, then live service games would be like, people would still be trying to make more and more live service games, right? It's insane the amount of legs that Minecraft has had. Like, it blows my mind that this is something that I never got into, something that has never really appealed to me, but it's appealing to a crap ton of people, like to my kids, to your kids. Like, I think there was like a graduation that was taking place in Minecraft over the weekend where people got on into Minecraft servers and they graduated through there. Like, it's insane. Like, Microsoft paid like, what was it, like
$4 billion,
$2.9 billion, like some insane amount of money for this. And they are like, I mean, that's impressive. Like, hats off to Minecraft, Square hats off to Minecraft. I wanted to point that out because that's an insane amount of people. 126 million people. Like, give us like a percentage of that people to listen to our show, and I will be there. That would be
1%.
Yeah, we'll take that. So, a couple other things I want to talk about and get your ideas on this. So, Mike, Christopher Nolan, he makes movies, right? He just makes movies. He does things. So, Christopher Nolan's Tenent trailer debuted in Fortnite. I think it debuts tonight.
It already happened.
And they're talking to, yeah, and it's like happening like once every hour or whatever tonight. And Tenet's like the new movie. It's actually a really cool looking movie. I hope everyone's gone and seen the original trailer. This is like the new trailer that dropped. But this trailer debuted in Fortnite, and he's talking about doing a screening one of his films. I don't know which film it is, but they're going to be screening it in Fortnite over the summer.
You know, Mike and I talked about this when you showed up late. We had talked about this before you got here.
Well, good. Now you can tell me what you guys were talking about, because this is weird.
So we didn't talk about this in full detail because how do you how would you screen a movie?
They show it. It just shows up in the game. Like, so the big thing they do in Fortnite right now is like they're debuting music videos. Like the last big huge music video. It was like 300 million people watched it at the same time.
The big screen.
Yeah, they're just in the game and it just shows up in the sky, and it's there for you to check out and watch, just like they did with like Star Wars and other things that happen in game. And so you're just watching them, or they have like a huge avatar of this person or whatever in the game doing stuff, and it shows up.
Super cool.
So I remember this one thing where it was in this like alternate reality that someone had posed where you sit in this floating chair and you just kind of go along in your day, and you have this screen in front of you, right? That's just like stuck in front of you that you can't get rid of. And stuff just shows up right in front of you, and you're like, okay, I guess I'll buy that. Put your couple buttons on your armchair.
Is that what you're talking about?
And it just kind of like, okay, shows
Wally.
up. And
No.
yeah, it was Wally. It was Wally.
Wally.
Good job, Devon. So I mean, this is the funny thing, guys. This is the thing where I kind of need to be a little bit worrisome of my surroundings. But like, there was someone sitting at their kitchen table, ignoring their kid's story about what they did at school today, and he goes, "You know, we could put advertisements in video games."
This has been there for a long time.
But like,
just not to this level.
Devin,
not to this level.
Have you ever watched a movie inside? Have you ever logged on, opened a game to watch a movie?
No, but I have, like, when you could Netflix, when they first did that thing where you could watch the movie together with your friends in Netflix. Like, so it was like you had your own little thing.
Different though.
I know it's different, but it's like you're kind of getting together. No. You're over there. We're getting onto the app together, and we're all there, and we're just talking together while we're watching the same movie. Instead of trying to be like, okay, like, we're gonna start this movie. Ready, go. You know, it's like one person push play. There's like a little thing on the screen, and you're all sitting there, and you're watching it together. But I mean, that's the way that they're kind of evolving. You know, live service and these kind of things. And to me, it's like I could care less. Like, I don't think him playing a full movie in Fortnite is going to work as well as debuting, you know, a trailer or a music video, because that movie's going to be hours long. Nobody's going to stay in that game while they're playing and watch his film and then let it restart, or if they keep playing and then they miss stuff while they're not playing or whatever. I don't think that's going to work out as well as they think it will, but I don't know. It's just an attention span and what they're showing. They're like, oh, that's cool. You know, you can interrupt my game for a little while I'm doing this. And they're going to be like, just shut up. I want to get back to my game and play. That was cool for a few minutes, but it's over now. I'm over it. You know, I don't know. That's just my thought.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think this is something that can only happen in Fortnite because of the popularity of Fortnite. I mean, they've had so many crossovers with Star Wars, Marvel, John Wick, all this other stuff that's in that game just because it is so popular. And I think Epic's smart to capitalize on all these things right now while it is at the height, because we know that eventually it is going to drop off. Like Fortnite will never die. That team has proven that they can continue to evolve. I just think this story is really weird because Christopher Nolan has gone on record saying that his movies need to be watched in theater. Like I forget what comment he said about watching him on phones, that you shouldn't watch his movies on phones, kind of like a purist, right? That they need to be watched either in IMAX or whatever. So I think it's weird that they're like, yeah, let's do this. But again, it's probably not Christopher Nolan. It's probably the people that are
money talks, man.
And that's what it is. And if Epic comes to you and says, well, I don't even know who would come to you at this point, whether it would be Warner Brothers saying, hey, we'll give you this much money if you do this event. But again, like Tenent does not seem like because when I think of Fortnite, I think of a demographic between 8 and 18 years old. Like that's the demographic I picture in my head, whether that's right or wrong. That's just what's in my brain. Like Tenet does not seem to be like catering to that demographic of age people. I'm sure a lot of people will want to watch that. They're probably 16 to 18 and above, but it just seems like really that's.
I honestly forgot about it until there's like, oh yeah, that Christopher Nolan movie. Oh yeah.
But I mean, we've all forgotten about every movie now, right?
Unless movies are like whatever. 3D. For me, like going to a movie theater now seems like a hassle, because when you can just download it or buy it for $24, $20, what do I need to go? I mean, going to theater is cool, but it costs me $60, $80 just to go see a movie one time with my kids. Versus with with a bunch of people that I don't know, that might smell, that might eat a lot of pickles behind you. And yeah, they could smell like weed, or they laugh at really weird things. I don't know. But anyways, it's like, and that's why movie chains have like gone on like, oh well, I'm never gonna show one of your movies again in my theater or whatever, because they know that once people get used to like, hey, I don't have to go out, to watch this movie, and I can buy it for $24 or $25, and I don't have to pay the ridiculous fees to go into the theater.
So Devon, what it is it's this floating chair, right? And there's this screen that's just stuck in front of you.
It has nothing to do with it.
And it just brings everything to you, right? And
it brings what I want when I choose it.
And you can drink your donut in a cup.
Hey, if I'm going to a movie theater, I'm just going to a different screen, right?
I think it goes back to like what we're talking about.
A donut in a cup.
And Epic's ability to adapt and find what people want. Like movie theaters need to do that.
Yeah.
And they have been so static, except for I know there's some places that do the food or whatever, and those are awesome.
Yep.
But they're just not adapting in a way that makes it, like worth going to a movie theater unless they have Atmos, because Mike won't go to any theater unless it has Atmos sound, which is super weird. So
I think they should just go back to drive-ins. People are probably kicking themselves. We could be showing movies right now at drive-ins because people could go watch a movie in their car or with the radio like you used to. And I loved going to those when I was younger. It was a lot of fun. That was an actual experience.
Oh my gosh, Devon, how old are you?
I am almost 38.
I'm just kidding.
So I enjoyed driving movie theaters. We'd go with my buddies. We'd all get together. Let's go. And every now and then people are like, oh, you can't sneak in. There's somebody in the trunk. Whatever. It's like, get over it. I'm still gonna buy snacks, so I'm gonna pay for it. All right.
You're gonna recoup your money. Don't worry about it.
But yeah, I mean, they need to make it a better experience than what it is. And
well, I think it's funny that because isn't this what our system is meant to be? Like there's a model out there of movie theaters that was really good for a time, and now they're not. And so in order for movie theaters to either stay relevant, they're going to have to change their model, and that's not a bad thing. It's
Yeah.
not a bad thing for them to do that. It is exactly what they're supposed to do, right?
They're gonna have to make it worth going to watch it at the
absolutely.
theater. I mean, there's still
Absolutely.
gonna be movies that I want to go see in the theater versus just watching them at my house. But for like kids movies, those kind of things where it's gonna cost a lot of money just to take my kids to this movie, or I can pay $24, I'll take that. You know, instead.
Right? It's going to cost a lot of movie to have my kids get up every 2 minutes to go to the bathroom and kick the chair in front of them and not listen to the movie and then spill their soda and then drop their popcorn, when we can just go to the house and they can,
They can watch it on their screens.
Exactly.
And
So
then
they can sit in their chair and they have their screen in front of them and they're wearing either blue or red and drinking their cupcake in a cup.
and then we play Fortnite at the theater.
Yeah.
Because
we've come
we
full circle.
be at the beach.
So a couple quick things. So Civilization 6 is free on Epic Game Store right now. It's a $60 game, so go pick that up. It's free. Why not? Do it.
Why not,
The Alan
right?
Wake 10-year anniversary is coming up, and right now I think you can buy Alan Wake for like $1, the remaster on Epic Game Store.
Or you can
And
just
it's also
get
on Game
get
Pass.
it on Game Pass for free if you have Game Pass for both
Well, it's
PC
not
and
free, you're
Xbox.
still paying for it.
It's like
Yep.
$6 for a month.
I didn't. Well, for it only if you pay for one of the services. If you got Ultimate, it's like what, $15? Anyway, all I'm saying is
That's
you should go
Xbox
pick up-
Live, Game Pass on PC, Game Pass on Xbox.
I agree. All right. So real quick, since that's all the big news that happened this last week, I think JD, you had a topic that you wanted to discuss and get some opinions on from us and from people in chat and on the show.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw this out to anybody listening as well. You're welcome to tweet me directly at JD the Joke Dealer, or if you're on the Discord, just at JD. And I guarantee you, I read every one of those messages that's directly at me
We'll
on
see.
Discord.
I'm gonna hit you up a lot tomorrow. All right, I'm gonna see.
just Devin's just like, hey JD,
I'm gonna
what you doing?
I'm gonna put a topic in every single Discord topic. I'm gonna send you a message.
I'm just gonna be like, oh my god, he did it, the madman. No, so I want to reach out and ask, you guys, people in the chat, our community at large, for their suggestions as to good games that are, games that are really good for getting older people, especially people that are brand new to gaming, into gaming. So some of you guys know my dad's still recovering from having multiple strokes, and he can't really walk or run anymore. We're looking for new things to get him into, and he mentioned the other day that he wants to get into video games. And so and we checked with his doctors. It's going to be good for his hand-eye coordination. And I want to see what you guys suggest, because my dad is 66 years old. The only game he seems to be interested in are bang bang shoot 'em ups, as he calls them. But I'm open to all suggestions that are really good to get people started, especially if they have any special like settings that you can alter to help people that have any kind of visual impairment. Just opening it up.
So what consoles does he have to play on, JD? What do you have to offer him?
We have the Xbox One downstairs, and we have a Nintendo Switch that is regularly down there as well. If need be, we could put a PS4 down there. And truth be told, if anybody makes a strong enough recommendation, then we have no problem just ponying up the cash and just getting him a console just for himself. So,
Man, I would suggest Tetris for hand-eye coordination and something to ease someone into. He's like handing someone a shooter for like the first time, like if that's their first game. I guess you could probably do Fortnite. Fortnite has that beach party mode that's like there's no combat or whatever. But if he really just wants to like kill stuff, I don't know if he just wants to kill stuff because he's excited.
He wants to shoot the guns. He wants to throw the grenades. He wants to stabby all the things.
Oh.
And those are his direct words. That's almost a direct quote.
Shoot, I don't know. I mean, there's so many of them. I guess like you could Battle Royale is free or what's the Call of Duty mode, Devon? Warzone?
Warzone.
Warzone's free, right?
But I
So
mean,
you
that's
just
not going
download
to be
that.
great for starter.
Well, I don't know what shooter would be great to start out on.
Yeah, definitely not
that's why I'm looking it
Fortnite
up,
because
Duck
you
Hunt?
well,
Duck Hunt would be good if you can find the gun. That's a good one.
they do have hunting games, you know, where you can wander around and go shoot the animals.
Oregon
yeah,
Trail.
Cabela.
Yeah,
Oregon Trail.
I can't believe they still make those games. I mean, I only say Warzone because it's free, and you don't have to spend a lot of money on a game that's like, I mean, if you have Game Pass, you can download Halo. You have access to every Halo, so you can play all of them. I don't know. That's tough. That's a hard question. I would have suggested something like to ease them into that, like going straight into a first-person shooter. I mean, what Minecraft? You can get into a couple different servers and play in Minecraft. They've got some
Minecraft Dungeons comes out next week, right?
Well, that's not a shooter.
Oh.
Well, there's still shooting involved.
I think if it has enough action in it, because I showed him a trailer for Mortal Kombat, and he got pretty excited because he loves the Terminator. So I was like, oh yeah, there's a game with the Terminator in it, and he got mad because it wasn't Arnold's voice. So he's like, that's not Arnold, and I'm like, no, it's not. It's they couldn't get him.
It costs
Yeah,
too
it's a
much.
tough
money.
one. I would go just get Game Pass and just start downloading shooters and be like, all right, try this one. Battlefield seems like an easy go-to if it just wants, to shoot stuff and try to kill things. But then again, like there's a lot of if it's just doing campaign, that's probably fine. But there's a lot of good people online, and that could be super frustrating if you're playing online matches. I mean, some of us still don't play online matches because Mike is real good at it. But yeah, I don't know, JD. That's a tough one. My go-to suggestion is not a.
I don't know. I think
that's why I'm opening it up to the community as well. I know we have a good number of listeners out there, and if it's possible, if anybody has any experience with this or has a suggestion that they think might be good, like seriously, send it my way. I'll take anything and everything. Thank everybody in advance. Like, thank you guys. So
cool. All right, I've got one other thing that we can do, and then we can end out the show because we've been recording for quite a bit, and I think we've covered a lot of stuff. So this is a new thing I call "What's in the Box." So this is a game that we play.
Oh,
and Devon, I don't know if you can share this. So on the document, I have a picture of a game, just the front of the game. It's a game box, all right? So what I want to do here, well, Devon, I don't know if you want to share our whole document. Here's what I'll do. I'm going to send you the
picture?
Hold on. I'm just going to send this to you, Devon, in chat. There's the chat on this thing.
Super Nintendo? Super Buster Bros?
Hold on. I'm going to send you this. Why can I not send? Wow, GoToMeeting sucks real bad.
It's for meetings.
It is for meetings, but sometimes you have to share things for meetings. All right. So, Mike, I want you. You are going to guess what this game is about just by looking at the cover art, and you're going to explain to all the listeners who cannot see this visually what is on the cover art. So first you're going to describe it, and then you're going to give me a synopsis of what you think the game is actually about. Sound good?
I can just take these pictures and put them on my thing here.
Clear as mud? Yeah, do that. All right, Mike. So go ahead. Whenever you're ready, this is What's in the Box, Super Nintendo Edition. Is Mike there?
Mike's here, but I don't have any. There we go. Devon, can you present it's a little small. There you go. All right. So what we have here on the cover, we have two obvious Germans who have in their hands
Obvious Germans. What?
two obvious Germans who have in their hands a blaster of sorts that is shooting bubblegum at each other. So this is obviously set in the Middle Ages with the bubblegum wars of the 1600s. It is called Super Blaster Bros, and you can take part as a I added the L. So it's Super Buster Bros, and they are they lost their parents in the it looks like there's some water in the background, so they obviously lost their parents in a nautical accident, and so they are fighting the pirates who sunk their ship with these pink balls of bubblegum.
All right. So,
That's pretty complicated for Super Nintendo.
Yeah, so
It is what it is, though.
do you think, like, what kind of game? Do you think it's like a platformer? Do you think it's top-down shooter? Like, what's your guess
Yeah,
just looking at it?
it's probably so it is by Capcom. So yeah, top-down shooter. So this is in response to the angry moms when Contra came out, and they're like, it's too violent. We need to have something better for our kids, and this is what they came up with.
So they came up with Germans fighting bubblegum?
Yep.
All right, so Super Buster Bros. This is the reading on the back of the box. It's raining bubbles. The world has come under attack, and it is up to you as a Super Buster Brother to ensure that the world is cleared of all bouncing bubbles. Every time you shoot a bubble, it breaks into 2 smaller ones. But be careful, if a bubble touches you, your history. Whether you play in the panic mode or tour mode, the challenge will keep you on your toes. In the panic mode, bubbles large and small pour down for 99 levels of exhilaration. In the tour mode, you will travel the world in search of new and explosive bubble battles. Enjoy the action, but be alert. As you progress through the levels, the game becomes more exciting as the bubbles bounce faster and faster. And the game is set up actually like Missile Command, where you are just stationary at the bottom of the level, and the bubbles come down, and you shoot at them. And this was developed by Capcom, so
JD,
that is
I
Michael.
found the shooter that your dad needs.
Yeah, Super Buster Bros. This is really it. So Super Buster Bros. That's been what's in the box, and I think we're gonna do more of these because I think they're kind of fun. So until next time.
Wait, hold on.
This
I'm gonna
has
bring
been
this up on screen. All right, so everybody can see this. Hold on, let me see.
Oh my God, what is this madness?
Are you bringing up the full box art? Devon?
Nintendo.
Get rid of your ads. There we go. Super Buster Bros gameplay.
You could try it for free.
Super Buster Bros gameplay. We need sound. You gotta give us sound there.
They can hear the sound. You guys can't. So.
Okay, fair enough.
I mean, it's typical SNES game. You're going, traveling around.
So you do get to be mobile. This is more like, so this is like Space Invaders meets,
Yeah, I guess it is more.
Having to
Well,
shoot your balls.
Yeah, don't shoot your balls.
Yeah, that's not terrible. I mean, there's fighting.
How did they pop that bubble when he shot up and it was to the side of his head? Anyways.
Hitboxes. So everyone, this has been episode 123
Oh, those
of the
are little
Freelancer
blue
Codex
balls.
podcast.
Poor guy, he's being attacked by blue balls.
Why?
Them blue balls, man.
Say that.
Until next time, we'll catch you later.
What happened there?
Thanks for listening. You can find us on Twitter at Freelancer Codex, on Facebook at Freelancer Codex, or through email at freelancercodex@gmail.com. Join the Discord through the link provided at freelancercodex.com. Our show will always be free, but if you'd like to send some support, you may do so at patreon.com/freelancercodex. Our individual Twitter handles are at Stephen Lamson, at mlamson25, at Neverfear, and at JD the Joke Dealer. Freelancers, it's time to get to work.